Okay, welcome back everyone, and this is my video on the RIP version 2. I was getting some problems with my recording software, so I end up just did it, and I will go back over everything just so that you will see how it's done. Okay, so this is the structure here. Um, 3 PCs on either side, 3 switches, and the 2 routers. So firstly, let me show you the PCs. So, well, it is labeled here, but this is the IP address of the PC, the subnet mask, and the default gateway, right here. As the first PC. This is the second PC here, and the default gateway, right here. This is the third PC. You can see the IP address, the subnet mask, and the default gateway once again, right here. Now moving on to the other side, this would be PC number 3. Here we can see the IP address, the subnet mask, as well as the default gateway, which should be right here. PC number 4 now, IP address, the subnet mask, and the default gateway. And the last PC, once again the IP address, the subnet mask, and the default gateway. Let's move on to the routers, which even though I have set up already, whatever you typed in is logged, so you still won't be able to see it. So let me go back up to the top right here, which firstly you'll see we set up the fast Ethernet 0/0. Regular stuff, we put in the IP address, the subnet mask, no shot. Then we did the fast Ethernet 1/0. Same thing, IP address, subnet mask, no shot. Then we did the fast Ethernet 6/0, the IP address here, subnet mask, no shot. And then we copy and start to save everything. Right, now let's move on to the second router. Show you the same thing. So once again here you see the fast Ethernet 0/0, IP address, subnet mask, no shot. Here you have the fast Ethernet 1/0. Once again the IP address, subnet mask, no shot. And then finally the fast Ethernet 6/0, which here once again you see the IP address, the subnet mask, and the no shot. Which after that we use copy and start to save everything. Now after all of that was set up, we had to set up the routes between right? Routes between these two networks right here. So if I go back onto the first router, you will see that here I set up the network between them on the fast Ethernet 7/0, and I also did the same thing on this router here, fast Ethernet 7/0. Then the last thing we did, well, to get it to work, is setting up the RIP version 2. So once again I'll go back to this router, and here you'll see we use the router RIP, then version 2. Then we have to take this IP address here and all on this side right here. So you see we have the 0, 64, and the 128, right? And then we did the same thing on this router, which is the same thing, router RIP version 2, the same IP address, but then it's all the IP addresses from on this side, right? So that's how I set it up, and now let's run some tests. So as you know, with RIP version 2, the first time I tested it will fail, so let's test it from this PC to this PC, right? And here you see it failed. Now let's test it again, same PCs, and once again, and well, here it was successful. So now let's try some other PCs. Let's try this PC to this one, and here we can see it failed. Now let's try it again. Here you can see that it was successful. So that's my video on how to set up the RIP version 2. Thanks for watching.